Hello, hello. Oh, I'm streaming. Okay, I'm figuring this thing out, right? Um, I am figuring this thing out. So let's update this. Okay. Mm, Give me just a second, guys. Okay. Okay. So I'm updating my titles everywhere. Okay. Yes, and my titles are updated everywhere. Okay, hey everyone. Welcome to The Truth About Fear. Um Today's masterclass is The Truth About Fear. I'm gonna put my notes over to the side because I have a lot to say and I'm gonna do it really quickly and efficiently. Okay. Yeah, welcome to the Truth About Fear. This is this week's masterclass slash webinar. If you register for this, you'll get the replay. If you're not registered for this and you're just watching it live, it'll be up for the rest of the day, and then me and my team will go in and scrub it. But hey, everyone, it is me, Tanisha. Uh, Yorick Allen. I'm always like so impressed by like this technology stuff. So I'm always like looking at myself sometimes. So to be, just give me a second. But yeah, it's your girl, it's Tanisha. I am here with this latest masterclass that I have for you guys. Like I told you, I come through every Thursday. I'm gonna start streaming some of it live. And then if you register for it, then you get the replay and all the things and all the goodies. Okay, so hey, it's Tanisha. I'm the CEO and founder of Your Other Mind, a coaching consulting firm, for visionary leaders, right? And I help people find the courage to make hard choices in their personal, professional lives, whether that's scaling or growing or evolving or healing, whatever the aims. And then what else do I do? I'm a coach and strategic operations consultant. I have 10 years of experience in strategic operations where I would like design solutions for people that help their companies grow, help them solve really complex problems that were delaying their growth, bottlenecks, things like that. Help them create growth plans and strategies, scaling plans and strategies. And I've done that in mostly the tech industry, startups, but also with some small businesses and all those good things. And that's who I am. Who are you? I'll have the chat over here, kind of local, active over into my side. But yeah, I'm really excited about today's topic because it's been coming up. Me and my team, we developed like a cadence. So I'll come and I'll teach something new every week, right? And it would do you a lot of favors to be registered for this in our actual system, so that you're catching these events live, you get the replay, all those beautiful, wonderful details. So today's conversation. The truth about fear is actually one of my favorite masterclass. We have 4 masterclass themes. The truth about fear is my favorite one. Just hands down, it just is. It's one of the most eye-opening masterclasses and things that I teach, mostly because people that enter these spaces or are drawn to these conversations are usually kind of flabbergasted and really kind of like surprised by what they learn in these conversations, because I feel like the truth about fear is probably like the one thing that we do at Your Other Mind that is like really spot on and hits a lot of nerves, right? And because we're not always conscious of the ways that we slow down our own growth, our own progress as like business owners and CEOs and COOs and CFOs and whatever O's you occupy in your business or whatever work you do in your career. Like we don't know how much we disrupt it. So for today's masterclass, I don't have slides, but I plan on teaching and giving a lot of information. So if you're a notebook girly, please listen to what I'm saying and write down whatever you feel inspired to write. Yeah. So in this call, we are going to be doing 3 things. Understanding the nature of fear. Basically, what that means is like how it shows up in professional goals and how it shows up in personal goals. And then identifying your true desires. Like, what does it even mean? Right? It sounds like it's a woo-woo concept or a woo-woo thing, but it's really not, right? Life causes all of us to want things. That's that conversation. And then what it means to master fear. Like, how do you take something that you're afraid of, that you're masking, and then make it into something else? Okay. So I'm going to go quick. I'm going to be thorough because my styles, my steez. And yeah, whatever questions you have, pop them in the chat. Hopefully I see it while I'm talking and I don't get too lost on the tangent. Okay, who's ready? Okay. Everything that I do in the university of the mind, doesn't matter what the client is, I'm going to say a prayer because, and it's non-denominational prayer, but it's just to center the attention and the energy, right? To bless the space, to thank the space, this container that's being held and created. So, if you feel like you want to close your eyes, go ahead. If you don't, I'm going to close mine so I can get fully into that moment. Okay. Mother, Father, God, I want to thank you for allowing us to use technology to our benefit. Again, this tool that lets us be in the same place at the same time, no matter where we are in the world, we thank you. And in this conversation, I pray for the nourishment and the upliftment of all who can hear the sound of my voice, whether that's live or in the replay. Allow their attention to be brought into the room. Allow their minds to be settled, to be receptive, their hearts to be open and receptive, their digestion and the way they process things to be open and receptive to hear whatever gems are for them. Allow my voice to convey a message very clearly and concisely, directly, giving them what they need to be nourished and replenished as leaders. And let this conversation be an upgrade and a shift and an elevation closer to the things that are on their hearts, on my heart, and let it be impactful. And I call all ancestors and spirit guides and beings and angels and all the little friends of the world that are seeking to watch us and support us elevate and find our place in this big universe. To my own ancestors and spirit guides, I ask you to remove my ego so I can be present in this work that you sent me here to do. This or something more for the highest good of all who can hear the sound of my voice. And more. And with that, we say amen, or we say ashe, or we say, and so it is. Okay, now you're live. Okay, so let's get into it. So I really want to talk about fear, right? I really want to talk about what it does, where it shows up in business and in life. And I really want to talk about this from like a high level where I can share some things with you guys, some statistics that people wouldn't otherwise have much awareness of. I just happen to have a lot of it because it's the work that I do. Okay. Harvard Business Group found that for entrepreneurs, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to persist in spite of it. So a lot of the work that we do at Your Other Mind is about that, right? It's about what does it mean to, make hard choices, or what we seemingly call hard choices. And that really takes a certain kind of muscle that you have to get really good at flexing. And in Your Other Mind, we are always flexing the muscle of going on anyway. Acknowledging how you feel, acknowledging what you feel, naming it the right name, right? Not calling it something else, which is what we do as leaders to, perpetuate our strength and our commitment to self, right? Not calling something else, but calling it what it is so that when you name it, you can keep going, right? According to 2016, I want to say Global Entrepreneurship Report said that 61.6% of people experience a fear of failure, right? In 2022, 43.6% of people from the ages of 18 to 64 saw opportunities that were good, opportunities to start businesses and do things, but were too afraid of failure to actually start that business, okay? And that number went up from 2016, the previous year. So what did that tell us? That tells us that everybody's afraid of something. And what I tell my clients to do, the quicker you can name how you feel about a thing, whether it's fear, indifference, whatever, the quicker you can get to the solution of the thing, right? Because something happens, a portal opens, if you will, when you understand that this is how you feel. So let me tell you what fear looks like on leaders. Let me tell you some of what it sounds like on people. Here we go. This is one. I've been procrastinating a lot. Now it's just not the right time. What else does it sound like? I wouldn't call it fear. I would call it, I just feel stagnant. I feel stuck, Tanisha. No, there's something there. There's something there. It's my favorite. I gotta figure this out, right? And these are all some cues of something that is making you uncomfortable, that is creating a fear environment. And you can't do much when you're afraid. Like literally the vibration of fear is so low that nothing can come from it. But the problem is a lot of people want to hide it from yourselves. And if you're a highly successful person, you're more likely to hide or to call it something else than you are to call it fear. Thank God there's a me in the world, because I'm going to tell you, just like really good coaches are going to tell you, and really good strategists that you guys hire are going to tell you, hey girl, it's giving that you're afraid. It's giving that you're afraid to be brilliant. It's giving that you're afraid to be dope and afraid to be amazing. And so the top 5 fears that come up for high achieving people who are doing something that they are that's stretching them, cause them to be someone else, the things that make people go into even go into business, right? The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of rejection, and the fear of not being good enough. And these are the main concepts, the 5 main concepts and ideas that keep people from doing whatever they're supposed to do in the world, making their impact, right? Showing up to say, okay, this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do. And these are all the really fun and cool, like verticals and vehicles through which I want to make that impact, right? And when you play with the idea of these fears, right, what you're doing for yourself is kind of creating a false sense of safety, which really just says you're unwilling to like go and do and be different. And the best way to be an entrepreneur or to be someone who is going for more in their professional life and their careers is by taking those big leaps. And in order to take those big leaps, you have to be courageous enough to name a thing, right? And most people have heard the word bottleneck, right? Bottleneck is like literally like a bottle, like it goes bottle up, right? Which is like how much soda can you get, how much water can you get to you, right? And bottlenecks are created because the area in which you're trying to get the output, the thing that's in the container, the output, it's small. It's smaller than the volume of what is there. We're making a point, okay? So I like to see my people, my clients, people that I attract into my universe as these big voluminous people with these little bottlenecks that they have crafted and created over time through lived experiences. They're like, oh my God, this lived experience has taught me this, squeeze and constrict. Oh my God, this lived experience has taught me that, constrict. Even some of the ways that, my clients or people that I attract go about achieving success is bottlenecky, right? It doesn't let out the full volume of who that person is. And so with the jump that you need to be able to make to amass and quickly hit your goals, hit your intentions, whatever, whether professionally or personally, is to widen that, to get either you eliminate the bottleneck or like widen it, right? So that all of the volume of who you are can be out of the vessel, right? You're the vessel, bottle of soda, go. Okay, that's like kind of how it works, right? And so this work is what we call upper limit work. This is the work that you'll find is like the stuff of champions. This is what people even call like the Herculean efforts, right? This idea that I'm going to let myself experience massive amounts of whatever it is that I'm trying to create, no matter what. And so the reason why people procrastinate, the reason why people call it something else is because it's more comfortable. A lot of us never want to seem, I'm not going to say weak, but we want to be seen a certain kind of way. Life has taught us that it is more valuable to pursue the approval of other people, to pursue the validation of other people. And so we do, right? We just start to build a personality and an identity as like these beings that are like doing stuff, but we're not really doing it for us, right? The things that we want to do, we tone those things down, we tone that voice down, and instead choose favor over the pieces of us that we find that people tell us are more acceptable, right? So we do what we do in the way that we go about our careers and our lives, usually for the acceptance or validation of someone else. And I want to disrupt that for you. I want to tell you that you can do and be and have anything. You just have to be courageous enough. If you have the ability to imagine an outcome, imagine a business, then you can overcome, conquer, make your friend the fear of failure, fear of success, fear of uncertainty, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. Because those stories, those things, those ideas are born from lived experiences, and then the ideas and the truths, the misbeliefs that you tell yourself about what's happening. And so your ability to take something that's happening to you, take an experience and start to name it, the discomfort, that it really is. I'm afraid of this, or I don't feel comfortable with this. That starts to open a door for you where you can solution and make solutions around what has once been your bottleneck. Because the truth about it is fear makes people constrict. It makes you say that I have to play small, I can't want enough, I can't do it, I can't even do the things that I feel like I want to do, right? Because we learn to be someone else in our childhood, in our teens, in our young adult years, that in order to get people's approval, I have to show up like this. In order to get people's acceptance, I have to show up like this. I'm here to tell you that's a lie and a myth. And you get to, and you are allowed to put that down now. Especially if you feel like you have something really amazing waiting on the inside of you, but you just don't know how to get it out. Great, put it down. Let's put down things that don't belong to you anymore or at all. And that's the first step, right? And so as much as I thought this was going to be a conversation about, like, let me tell you through this, it's becoming more of a heart to heart, right? And which is fine, because most of my framework is built in just the understanding of what I would call really complex principles, really big things. And so when you can understand really big things like fear, I just want to encourage you all to stop calling it other things. Your power, your personal power and autonomy lies in the fact that you can name something in absolute truth and feel no need to judge or make decisions about what that means. Like, nothing in our world is actually good or bad. We just make it that. And I want you to consider the amount of times that you have actually told someone or been honest about something that you're afraid of, right? And how beneficial that has been for you. Because with my clients, what this tends to look like is my clients will say, Tanisha, I'm afraid of this. Like, finally in a session, they'll finally be like, I'm afraid of this thing. I'm like, great. Now that you're afraid of that, now that you know that you are afraid of that, what would you rather instead? And this starts segue to the true desires. Fear gives you keys and information to solutions and opportunities that are available to you. One more time. Fear provides honest fear, naming the things, saying the things, calling it what it is, provides keys and opportunities to the solutions that you have been looking for. In the world of Abraham Hicks, she talks about, or they talk about, our world is created it's on purpose to create contrast. That just the idea of something that you don't want existing creates the opportunity for something that you do want existing. And so that contrast, she talks about this contrast being such a good thing for people who are living, because the contrast invites you to choose with clear and absolute certainty what you want. The issue with what happens with most highly successful people is that you get to become performative, which means you only pick things based on what your brain can deduce as the most acceptable thing. In order to have the career, professional life, the personal life that you want to really have, you're going to have to learn to turn on everything that says, this is what I want for my life. Because the thing that you think is friction, the thing that you think is the problem, is actually pulling and pushing you to actually say, this is what I would rather instead. And so when we're talking about true desires, it's not some esoteric, woo woo high in the sky thing. There's room for that. I love the woo, right? There's plenty of room for that. This is a real and tangible thing. People go to hire strategists, or people go to enroll in coaches programs, but you don't even know what you want. And then you spend money, right? Or you invest time on this thing, and then y'all want to go back and blame the strategist or the coach when you came into it not knowing what you wanted. And here's the truth, right? Like, the only reason you didn't know what you wanted was because you didn't know what you didn't want. Because you kept trying to tell yourself, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm cool. I just need this thing. No, everything's not fine. Your sales are crumbling. No, everything's not fine. You're not attracting enough leads. No, your partner is on their way out. Everything is not fine. How do you feel about these things that are happening? Well, Tanisha, I feel shitty because my partner is leaving. Well, Tanisha, I felt like, I didn't trust myself to do this thing because I didn't really want it to work out. And I didn't trust this thing. Okay, great. Now that you know you don't trust these, now that you know this thing is shitty, now, what does that cause you to desire? What does that cause you to now want? And not only want, but want and be brave enough to invite that solution into your life, so that when you meet the strategist that you're going to hire next, or you meet the coach whose program you want to enroll in, you're not looking at them to fix everything for you and to play guessing games with your outcomes. You get to be in charge of your outcomes because you have defined what you need, what you want, what you would prefer. That is business. Like, most companies that grow, they don't just grow by happenstance. They grow because a person was like, I really just want to make food all day. I really want to cook food all day in a really beautiful place. So what do they attract? Opportunities to cook food in a really beautiful place. And next thing you know, 3 years later, they have a restaurant. They were really clear on what they needed, what they desired for themselves. And a lot of you guys are, and this is not on your coaches. This is a conversation about you. A lot of you guys have hired people or joined programs with no clarity about your real desires, or what you told the person you wanted when you met them, and the solution that they created for you aren't matching because you weren't clear on your desire. You weren't clear on your outcome. You weren't even clear on what you were willing to do and who you're willing to be to show up. So you have to get really good at naming how you feel and letting that be a gateway to the solution that you would desire, right? I told this story like 1,000 times, but one of the projects I worked on when I was at Amazon, one of the things I did that saved them at the time, $300,000 in lost revenue. $300,000, and this was after, like, I want to be specific. This was like after 1 week of this new process that I redesigned being the implementation. $300,000. Okay. In this problem, right, you're going to be like, oh, strategic operations, I get it, Tanisha. No, let's walk it through. In this problem, this company was losing money through this stream. And for weeks and months before I even got there, the employees were trying to tell the management about this issue, right? And everybody wanted to sweep it under the rug, pretend it wasn't there. That's what we do with our feelings, right? And in pretending it wasn't there, we just kept losing money, lots of it. Right? In 1 week, we recovered $300,000 in lost revenue. 1 week of this new process. And so I got with the employees and I was like, yo, what do you guys need? What are your desires? Well, Tanisha, I desire this to be fixed and this to be fixed. And do you see this? This is the problem. This has been the problem. Great. I can solution that. I can figure out who to call and what to do. And so what we did was the whole department now got orders from Tanisha to, hey, let us pull this product from the floor. Let us analyze and audit this process and see what's happening. Because somebody told me the truth of what they wanted. They told me that there was a problem. I learned what the desire was. Let's see let's put our eyes on it now. With my eyes on it, I changed 2 questions. I had enough data to support Amazon pulling the trigger to, like, let me change 2 questions. I changed 2 questions. And that resulted in $300,000. And our fears are like that. You think it's this big thing that you have to figure out because you have dreams of being a millionaire one day. And so your mind is like, let me go all the way to the future. What about the right now? You don't have to figure out 10 years from now. You don't have to even figure out 5 years from now. Hell, you don't even have to figure out next week most of the time, right? You need to figure out the now. So what is today causing you to desire? What is today's experiences, today's emotions, today's discomfort, today's clarity, today's problems, today causing you to want, right? And from there, what is the natural next step to that? That brings us to my next subject, mastering fear, right? I told you we we're going to talk about 3 things. Understanding the nature of fear, identifying your desires, your true desires, and then mastering fear. To get good at being partners with the things that scare you, you have to be willing to face it head on. And the quicker you can do that, the more easeful you can do that, the better your outcomes and your solutions will be. It's just the way this works. I could go into like the energetics of it. I could go into the spirituality of it, but something inside me is telling me y'all just want practical information. I'm going to give you practical information, period. Okay. So what you can actually implement. You want to stop being afraid. You want to stop being in procrastination. You want to stop whatever. Great. How quickly and how easily can you get there? That is how you master fear. You don't make it hard. You put down hard work, because hard work for most high achieving people is performative at best. Stop performing what you think people want you to do. Stop performing what you think people are looking for from you. Start performing your truth. Start performing your desires. Start performing your wants, your needs, the things that you would love to have and experience. And the quicker and the softer, more easeful, more plain, more clear you can make that experience, the better it will be for you. And that is what we call mastery. So I talked about hard work earlier this week, I think on Tuesday when I did my live, right? I'm going to bring back that piece. Hard work is the stuff of performative identities and high performing people. Hard work is what you do when you think everyone's watching you and you think everything is about you. Hard work is what you do when you're trying to get other people's approval and validation, right? Because if you didn't need any of that, you would do things in your way. And most times, the natural way that we want to do things is not the hardest. But we believe that it's too easy or it's too simple. And because life has taught you, people have taught you, parents have taught you, hey girl, make it hard. It got to be hard. If it ain't hard, it ain't worth doing, right? Grind. You got to hustle and flow. Because you have learned that and adopted that and participated in that for so long, well, now you're left thinking that everything has to be hard. And nothing is supposed to be. So when I coach people to their human design, to their numerology, and to their gene keys, what I'm helping them do is master fear. When you know who you are and you give yourself permission to be that, to do that, to have that, right? You face things head on. You take your own natural strategy, your strategy of Tanisha, your strategy of Chris, your strategy of Jodianne. You take that natural strategy and you implement it everywhere. And you do it quick, and you do it efficient, and you do it lovingly, and you do it tenderly, and you do it. And you just show up. And from that practice of showing up consistently over and over and over and over again, you get results. So you have to be willing to dismantle this idea that it's not safe or it's not a good idea to name things plainly what they are. How you feel is how you feel, honey. And even if you try to hide it, it's still going to cause problems. No one took any of my employees' concerns seriously. And you know what we were doing? Still losing money as a department. And then the whole global Amazon brand was losing money because of this one thing. But when we named it, when we identified it, when we treated it like the truth that it was, right? We were able to create a solution that has probably by now turned over millions of dollars saved. And so think about where you let procrastination, self-doubt, uncomfortable, I'm stagnant, I'm stuck, be your bottleneck. And how can you undo that? Open that door so all the volume of you is let out. That's it for this masterclass. I hope, for those of you that catch it live, I hope you make mastery of this moment. And then the offer that I have for you is actually going to be, if this conversation spoke to you, reach out to me and my team. We have client engagement coaches, we have a creative operations officer, you have me, right? Reach out to my team and schedule a call so we can talk about how this may be looking for you and some solutions that we have in this universe at Your Other Mind of how we can help you. Because you don't have to suffer in silence, and you don't have to become brave on your own, right? Like, you can join a community, you can get help from a coach, you can get expert guidance, you can learn to do things in a way that promotes ease. And if you don't even know how to even want that for yourself, schedule a call with my team, right? We can help you figure that out. So yeah, that is the masterclass for today. If you register for this event, you'll get the replay in your emails. If you didn't, you got time. Well, to the end of the day, actually. Okay? So, may the odds be ever in your favor. I love you all.